I know this sounds slightly controversial, but you have to get 100. Very smart, very good guy. So they feel 100 is impossible.
Do you think I'm Maruti or what? I'm just Rakesh.
I was the only one who had 79. Sort of created that mental breakdown during my IIM Ahmedabad interview.
He asked me, like, who is Machiavelli? One of the panelists is in mid-40s and the other panelist in mid-30s. Whatever answer I'm giving, he's just staring at me like this. I'm also getting a little bit nervous.
DILR first 10 minutes I couldn't solve a single set. I was panicking and system got off, I guess.
Collection of resources is not possible. That I understood that very late.
I got enrolled in Cracku's GDPA course. So I enrolled in the Convert Guarantee program. So I gave around 10 mock interviews from different mentors who are also from IIMs. After each interview, it should not be like, I should not regret like I did not give my best.
Times I actually tell people you have to get 100. But once you hear that phrase multiple times, at some point you'll feel it is not that scary.
Then I scored around 98.86 percentile in the D-Day.
I got 99.8.
Final I got a 99.85 percentile.
Everybody's life, I feel, is very interesting. There'll be many highs, there'll be many lows. Okay, guys, very happy to have all of you here. So we have two guys who have converted IIM Ahmedabad and one guy who converted IIM Calcutta. So I wanted to interact with you. I'm like I was telling you earlier, I'm very interested to know about your interview experiences. I'm very interested to know in general about your life up to this particular point, okay? Because everybody's life, I feel, is very interesting, okay? Everybody, and also very unique. There'll be many highs, there'll be many lows, okay? Many times you don't really expect something big like this happening, okay? You hope that something like this will happen, but just having it happen and feeling it is very different. And I'm very interested to know that story. So let's get started. First, maybe you can all introduce yourself, okay? Tell us about your profile, okay, where you grew up, all of those things. And then we can take it forward from there.
Yes, I'll start with myself.
Yeah.
I'm Sri Mukhesh Inturi. I'm from Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. And I did my schooling till 12th class in Guntur. And I scored around 98% in 10th and 98 in 12th. And later I moved to IIIT Sri City to complete my graduation. And I did it in computer science engineering. And I scored around 81% in my graduation. And right after my college, I got into a company called Toddle. So it's an edtech startup, and it is kind of like a learning management system for IB schools. So I worked there for almost 3 years, and at the end of my tenure, I was kind of coordinating a team of 78 people, and it was kind of a project management role. And later, after gaining this experience, I wanted to start something of my own. So for that, I wanted to do my MBA. So that year in 2024, I attempted CAT, but I kind of failed in that attempt. So I scored only 84 percentile overall, with only just 41 percentile in DILR. So yeah, that was pretty demotivating for me. And later I thought like, okay, maybe I'm not the IIM kind of material.
This is CAT
2024. Okay. And I thought like, okay, I lack something that IIM wants. So I even bought some books to study on my own, whatever they teach in the MBA. So, okay, that was my plan. And unfortunately, after 2 months of my CAT result, I lost my father actually in 2025 February. And since then, I have been handling his business, which is in the real estate sector in my Guntur area. And then I was kind of, I got a reality check of like, I was kind of in financial troubles, a lot of financial troubles, and I was kind of in a debt trap. So in order to get out of this, I have to create wealth, and in order to create wealth, I have to create some value. So that happens through knowledge. So that's why I thought I will give CAT one more time, and this time I have to go to IIM to get the best knowledge of for the like. So basically, I want to change my life. So this time I was pretty motivated to study, and I used to study like I used to come at home around 8 p.m. and from 9 p.m. to midnight 1 a.m. 2 a.m. I used to prepare for CAT. And this time I scored around 98.86% in the D-Day, and I got calls from all IIMs except IIM Calcutta. Yeah, and even IIMA I got around very thin margin, like 0.026% of that composite score. Yeah, so like
So what changed from 84 to 98, close to 99 in just 1 year, right? So what exactly changed? What did you practice?
the first thing is like overcoming the fear. So basically, many people will have the fear that okay, I'm not good enough or something like that. So first thing is defeating the fear, and second thing, the main important thing is preparing with a strategy. So having the right strategy helped me this time. So for me, I started preparing from around July ending, like August. I started preparing. So August, September, October, November. So there were roughly 4 months. So now I have to have a maximize my score within these 4 months. So how do I go about that? There are three sections: DLR, VRC, and Quant. DLR, I'm already pretty poor, like from the previous attempt. So basically, the reason I failed in that attempt is that year I did not prepare anything about charts, DI part. Unfortunately, in the exam, there were a lot of DI sets. So by seeing this DI set only, I got panicked, and that panic got like mounted, and then I fluked that attempt. So this time, I wanted to have a practice for all kind of DILR sets. So I practice a lot in the DILR, and I have to maximize one section. Now with my little amount of time, that section for me is VRC, because for quant we have to put some effort, like you have to know the formula, we have to practice. For VARC it's like comprehending, and the it's like a skill game. Like I read a lot of I practice a lot of RCs, like practice around 250 RCs from Cracku study room.
Wow,
Yeah.
nice.
At one point of time I was like a top of the leaderboard also.
Nice.
Yeah. So I practice a lot, and
That would have been even motivating, no, when you're seeing your name at the
yes sir, definitely it was like a kind of game for me. So every time I saw an RC, I have to go to the top and all. And I maximized my score actually in the exam. I scored around 44 marks raw score in the VRC.
Very nice.
And the DLR,
How much was that percentile in
VRC
Yeah.
98.8, I guess. Yes, 98.8.
and DLR? What happened this time?
Yeah, DLR, I did not panic, first of all. I solved 2 sets. And after solving the 2 sets, I have almost 15 minutes left. But I think this time the paper is such that like I did not able to solve the third set. It was kind of difficult for me. So it was around 95 percentile in the DLR section. And in the quant, I just prepared through mocks and sectionals in quant, because I was already having a good basic understanding of algebra and arithmetic. So it was around 96 percentile in the quant.
Very nice. So immediately after the examination, you kind of knew, right, that you are doing well.
Definitely. I knew that this time I'm going to IIM. What IIM, that will decide later. But definitely I'm going to IIM. I even prepared with the mindset of like just getting a baby IIM. Even I just have to go to IIM. That's it. I do not have like okay ABC or like that. Not like that. Because I was already failed in the last attempt. So that was a kind of.
No, I think I know this sounds slightly controversial, but if you set your target slightly low, okay, there will be less pressure on yourself. I have seen that happen so many times in my own life. Okay, when I set targets slightly low, I nearly always outperform, because if you set your targets very, very high, that additional pressure will be there. Even if one section is slightly messed up, you won't be able to come back.
Exactly, sir. Because in 2024 I set ABC, so that's why that didn't happen. So this time okay, IIM.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Good. So yeah, you.
Yeah, hi, I'm Maduwanthan, and I come from Chennai, born and brought up in Chennai. And I did my schooling from Chennai itself, and I did my BBA from IIM Rohtak as part of its IPM program. I wanted to become a chartered accountant, but my father pushed me to this program. He said that I should be a part of an IIM ecosystem, and it's relatively easier to get in here. So Indore I couldn't crack in 2020, and I was able to crack Rohtak in that year. So after that, after going in, I saw a lot of competitive people doing their own things, right? Not just studies. It was very different, and apparently everybody studied for CAT that year. So I also wanted to give, but I didn't take up any mock. I took 0 marks that season, though I purchased all marks. Right? People buy all marks, but we don't do anything. So because of the schedule, and so after that, I think I scored about 98.2 percentile that year. So it was good enough to get a Kozhikode call. I am Kozhikode. But once I went to the interview center, I found that everybody had very high percentage, 99.9, 99.95. So on a relative basis, I was already a little low on the panel. So I went inside, and I think that was my first interview of the whole time, right? Apart from the IPM one. I thought I gave very good answers during the interview, and when I came out, I said that this is a definite convert for me. And apparently I was waitlisted at 1100 or something. So that was a reality check for me. So that happened, and 2023, so I took an exit from the IPM program. We are allowed to take an exit instead of continuing. So a good number of us, came out because we had different ambitions. One wanted to do an entrepreneur, venture. So all of us took our exit, and I had an offer from Mahindra Finance in,
Nice.
yeah, but I didn't take it up because
Okay.
it was a little low paying for Mumbai standards. But yeah, so I had to come back, And we had a family business at that point, incubated in 2019 by my father. So it is into mutual fund distribution, and I also had the passion for finance because from 1920, that basically my age when I was 1920, I wanted to get into finance, and I started working towards it as well. So I didn't do any professional courses, but I knew that I would do something on this line. So I came back to this business, and initially I was in the operations role, and I wanted to prepare for CAT again. The reason is that some MBA would definitely help me, during the course of the venture as well. It's not only for placements, right? So I really wanted to give CAT, and I think that season I was into a lot of bad habits, not into smoking or drinking. I used to stay up till 4 a.m., 5 a.m. But I used to study in between as well. So I have office work, and at the same time I have to study, and at the same time I don't sleep on time. So I think my attempt didn't go very well. I
This
think that
was
was
CAT 2023.
yes, CAT 2023. I think that was the toughest paper of all time. But yeah, so I thought I did well, but just to add a fact, into CAT 2022, my weakest section was VRC. I got only 88 percentile, but overall was 98.29. Yeah, so what happened was that in 2023, it was the toughest paper. And upon scoring 88 percentile in the last year, I didn't know what to do for VRC because I took barely, I think, 5 marks that season as well. I didn't really prepare. So one thing that I would like to say here is that I had, probably 4 or 5 mock test series, but somehow my brain took that as progress. Ultimately, collection of resources is not progress. That I understood that very late. So what happened was that I took up some mocks, and I had that ego that I was always right. I wouldn't agree with answers in VRC, and I would say that I'm anyway right. But what happened was that I got only 95 in VRC that year again, and my scores in Quant and DILR actually went down. So my overall percentile was 98.62, but overall rank was the same because of the increasing number of people. So again, I didn't get a call from Kozhikode also because their selection criteria changed because of some diversity points. I got only a call from Shillong, and that year I prepared well for the interviews. I realized how bad my Kozhikode interview was. I felt that I aced it, but I understood that it was pretty bad, and I converted Shillong in the first week. So I got Shillong, but again my father pushed me to join. But I was very keen on Blackie IIMs because I know how the ecosystem operates, the kind of people that come, right? So I didn't want to settle for Shillong because I barely have 6 months of work experience at that point. So CAT 2024 happened. I did extremely well, except that it was for myself. When I came out, I thought that I did my best, but apparently the paper was easy for everyone. It was slot 1. So because of that, my DILR score came down. I think it got scaled down by, I think, 4 or 5 marks. So my overall was the lowest. I got 97.7 percentile. No calls at all. Didn't do anything. And this year there was no difference. It was just that I took more number of mocks in 2024. So I took I think around 30 mocks, but again I just kept taking mocks. I didn't analyze it. I would just take it once a week, and there's no learning after that. But in 2025, what happened was that I decided to withdraw myself from everything. So basically, I changed my habits. So there was this 40-day period which I observed for myself, where I would sleep on time, not have outside food. So that happened, I think, in June, July period. And from January onwards, Jan 2025 onwards, I started sleeping on time. I changed my habits. So I would religiously take, the CAT. I took a 3-month break actually. From January till March, April, I took a break. Then from May onwards, I subscribed to mocks, but I think June is when the mocks start. So till then, I was taking the free mocks that are there available on different websites like Cracku and all of that. And my score was still low. I would score in the 50s probably overall. And over a period of time, what happened was that I started accepting that my answers are not right. I should be open to solving, looking at perspectives. And one thing that happened differently was that I got Cracku mocks, I think, in July, and I realized that even you score very less in certain mocks in VRC, not the other sections. So I understood that it's not that we have to agree with all the answers or disagree with answers. The reason is that you said this yourself, that in the actual CAT we probably disagree with 3 or 4 questions, but in mocks we disagree with 12 questions. So when I look at my VRC scores, I'm not supposed to be worried that I scored low. Rather, my answer key should be yours because you take all the mocks anyway. So my approach was that I wouldn't see the answer key at all. Once I finish the mock, I will wait for your attempt to release. So I will see yours and I'll try to match how much I will, and I will try to minimize the deviation from your answer. That's how I went with VRC. So that helped me get 99.82 in VRC itself.
Excellent, man.
Because I was doing the daily targets also this year. And even if I miss a day, it's fine. Like I would go to the next day. I didn't purchase the targets because I had mocks with me. This season I took about 80 mocks. And you've given the advice that we shouldn't be taking mocks every day or something like that. But there were some days where I took 3 mocks continuously.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Like I just didn't want to leave that, psychology. Yeah, because I didn't want to risk that, zone where you leave the mock.
I know. Maybe it'll affect you psychologically then.
Right.
Maybe
So-
I could have done more.
That is there. And one more thing is that I don't want to leave the exam scenario. Every day I would, do a mock for say 4 hours if it's a weekday. Weekends I'll go 8 hours or 9 hours on a mock. Analysis, it was quite simple for me, probably 20-30 minutes. But ultimately, I just wanted to be there on the leaderboard someday. So I think in 2 or 3 mocks, I came on the leaderboard. And on the WhatsApp group, I used to see so many people getting very high scores. There, only those 4-5 people will be chatting, and I felt a little inferior. There was this guy named Vatsal, there was this guy named Malav. They would just be talking something, they would be talking about how they scored, 110, 120, 130. I used to be getting only 80 or 90. That's how it went. And finally, I think during the November season, I used to take 2 or 3 mocks a day. And finally, on the exam day, I just realized that, slot 1 and 2 are different. I just go for slot 3, and I think the timer was a little problematic again for me, because when you have adrenaline inside your body, right, time goes fast anyway. So despite that, the time was running very fast, but I was able to battle it out. So in VARC I was able to score 99.82, and Quant I was able to score 99.65. DILR I made a blunder, 2 questions, so I got only 96.44, but overall I got 99.86 and got all the calls.
Very nice, man. Excellent.
But my undergrad score was a little low, 79% in BBA. But yes.
Okay. If it was even 81, you would have felt very happy.
Yeah, psychologically, yes. But yeah, 79% was a little poor. But yeah, that sort of created that mental breakdown during my IIM Ahmedabad interview as well. Because in my panel, everybody had 85, 90 plus. So I talked with them, but I was the only one who had, 79. So I think after the introduction, we can discuss more.
So myself, Rakesh. So I was born in Nalgonda, but all my schooling was done in Guntur. So if you know about Guntur, is anybody from Andhra Pradesh? Then
Yeah, I'm from
yeah. So you know the JEE and the schooling ecosystem there. So it was so rigorous, the Bhashyam and all the schools, Chaitanya, Narayana. So I got used to this mindset of sitting for long hours and studying there. So during my JEE prep and all, so I got used to it. So later I got into NIT Trichy, and then I got into a core job. I worked there for 2 years, and this is my first CAT attempt, and the preparation was pretty chill actually. I started in August, around August. So first I thought I should complete the syllabus in 1 month. So Quant I didn't look at the videos much, just some topics that I forgot. But DILR, like everything's new to me, and VRs I don't even have any reading habit, so I need to watch it from scratch. So VRs and DILR are pain points for me. So I started doing that. After 1 month, I started taking a lot of mocks and all. So I remember there was this Reddit Ask Me Anything, AMA thing by Maruti sir. I was asking him doubts. He said, I sent my profile and I told him, like, I have this much work ex and all. He was like, what should be my target percentile for Blackie calls? He was like, you should score 100 percentile. Do you think I'm Maruti or what? I'm just Rakesh. So I thought, oh God. I was like, everybody is demotivating. Like, how can I get 100 and all? So,
No, why would I have said that? Your profile is decent, right? What is your profile?
no, you said 100. I don't know why.
100% you'll convert, you'll get everything now anyway.
Yeah, but yeah, I know that, but realistic expectations. So you said 100. I don't know what to do. I showed to my friends. So if sir is suggesting 100 for your profile, I should get 105. They were like
basically,
that.
One of the things is, I feel people set lower targets many times, okay, just because of underconfidence, okay. That happens to me also. Many times in different aspects, I set lower targets because I feel, like I told you earlier also, right? Once the targets are slightly lower, you achieve it, but they should not be too low also. And one other thing I realized is, once I set a high target and I keep saying multiple times that I'll get it, okay. Initially you won't believe it, but after a point of time, you'll at least not be scared of it, okay. That is the reason many times I actually tell people, you have to get 100. Like in my office, there are these content managers, right? So this year when I was not taking CAT, okay, when I've decided to not take CAT, I told them that you have to get 100, okay. And because even the content guys who are very smart, very good guys, okay, for them also they feel 100 is impossible. But because I used to tell that, like last 2 weeks also I was telling them multiple times, you have to get, you have to get. One of them got 99.99, okay. 99.99 just missed out on 100, okay. And I don't think if you had told him, or like if you had asked him only like 6 months back, hey, can you get 99.99? It's very tough. No, 99.99 is crazy. But once you hear that phrase multiple times, at some point you'll feel it is not that scary. Maybe it is possible. But again, sorry for cutting you out. Please, yeah.
It's fine. So you said it like that. So I was like, I think I can't make it. So I was starting to prepare. Then after completion of syllabus, I felt it's okay, fine. But pain point is VARC. Like I used to get single digit. I used to take that study room wala questions. It was like after doing 100 RCs, I was like, why is Cracku making these RCs? Why are these so tough? I was seeing parallelly these previous year questions. They were so easy and the passages are readable. These were so freaking tough. I was like, no shit, I should. So what happens is if I do study room or Cracku's mock, if I perform bad and I take 2 days rest, I don't do anything. I just chill. I just watch movies or any series. So I was rewatching this Suit series while you said that. He says that if life is this, I want this. So after listening to you say 100%, if I aim this, I'll get this. So I was like, I psychologically fixed that I need to get 100%. So my mind is tuned that way. So even while writing mocks, I was like, I need to get 100 percentile. I need to maximize this. So I took around 50 plus mocks. So you said the same as he said. You shouldn't take mocks daily. I was taking one per day. So I used to wake up around 7. It's not because I'm a healthy person or disciplined. My brother used to wake me up to drop him. So I wake up at that time and then I start writing at 8 o'clock to 10. So I analyze it around 12 or something after taking bath, and then evening I watch a movie. That's it. Chill. If I feel I'm bad at something, I go back to that topic. That's it. That's my preparation.
No, I think that's a very good preparation. No, like somebody who is already scoring or at say around 97, 98 percentile level. Okay, if they're attempting so many mocks and if they're analyzing the mocks on a daily basis, I think that is the best way in which you can ace your percentile. This is valid for people who are already scoring around 97, 98 percentile. So how much did you score in the final list?
Final, I got a 99.85 percentile. So I got around 40 marks in VARC, around 98.8 percentile something, and 36 in DILR. I got around 99 plus percentile in that, and Quant it's 33 or something. I think I did bad in quants after coming out, because in mocks I used to solve at least 20 questions. So I used to aim for 22 to complete the paper, and so that used to so in mocks what happens is I used to get around 110 at that mark. So most of
You're
my
one of the toppers he was talking about.
No, I did not used to chat in the group. So
Same. Every 4 or 5 people used to talk.
Yeah,
They actually
they
topped
talk.
the exam.
I feel
People
that's-
got 99. That Malav guy I told you, he got 99.92.
I know. I talked to him yesterday.
And so many other people got 99.8, 99.85. Abhiraj, these are people who actually scored very high.
Yeah.
And then I came in the middle and they asked me, are you a mod here or are you a bot? To me, I said, oh, I also scored well. Yeah, so I had to clarify. Yeah, please go ahead.
So what I was saying.
You're saying you underperformed in quant on the day of the exam.
Yeah, I got under. So in mocks, na, I used to get around 100, 110, 120. So major chunk of my marks used to come from quant. Around 50, 55 come from quant. So what happened is I realized I'm getting a lot less in DLR and VRC. I used to get 30, 20 DLR and VRC respectively. So I thought this shouldn't be happening. I need to improve my VRC. So for one whole month after doing my morning mock pattern, in the evening I used to sit reading books. I read this book called Righteous Mind by Hadit, and I also read some dense book. I don't get to understand it, but I just read it. I read it, I try to understand, comprehend it. So that helped me a lot. And later my VRC improved. So I used to go with hunches. Like this feels like a right option and I used to mark it. And later I realized I need to eliminate it. And then I improved. eventually. So in final, I got it balanced around 40, 36, 33. That's fine, I guess.
What happened in Quant? Which slot were you in?
I was in slot 2. So what happened is, VRC, I did well, fine. DILR, first 10 minutes, I couldn't solve a single set. I was panicking, and the person beside me, she was writing her exam, and the system got off, I guess. So I don't know that. I was seriously watching my screen. I don't even know that's off. She called some operator, and she came and she's hitting the CPU.
Oh my God.
And that noise is disturbing. I was like, no, you shouldn't hit CPU. Please go somewhere else. No, that's not how
I
you
know.
make it work.
I know, man. Yeah.
So, and I was panicking. I closed my eyes for like 10-20 seconds, and then I solved 3 sets. So that's fine. And then Quant, what happened is, I wasted a lot of time in lengthy processes and calculations. So I thought I could do 20. I just did 15, and in that I lost some marks, I guess. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. You want to talk about interview experiences?
Yeah. So I think getting as many calls is beneficial because you can convert one or the other call. So what I observed is like the interview process is kind of random, but you also have to put some effort. For me, the day I received the Ahmedabad call, I thought like, okay, things are getting real. Now I am this close to achieving my dream, so I have to give my best. So after each interview, it should not be like I should not regret like I did not give my best. So that's why I started preparing. I got enrolled in Cracku's GDPA course. So that happened with Pipzone, right? So I enrolled in the Convert Guarantee program, and I gave a lot of mock interviews. So I gave around 10 mock interviews uh, from different mentors who are from also from IIMs. So every mentor gave different feedback, like each one coming up with a new feedback. For example, one of the mentor told that I'm telling a lot of like that in the interviews. So that might sound underconfident. And the other feedback I received is regarding the body language and regarding what things to prepare for the GDPA. So a lot of academics related stuff and work ex, and also the current affairs, what's happening around the world, and also some static GK like India's economy and what's happening in different sectors. So what is happening in my tech sector. So a lot of I gave a lot of mock interviews.
You had like 2 years gap, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Did any interview ask you about your gap years?
Not directly, but indirectly they have asked me. So in my A interview, they have asked like, so after 2024, like, what are you doing? Like, you're preparing for CAT or something? I said, okay, no, actually, I have some this family this thing incident, and I've been doing that. And my first interview was Udaipur. Yeah, Udaipur interview, it went really good, and they asked me some random questions. Like he asked me one thing. Okay, I will ask you one question. I don't expect an answer from you. You don't need to know that. But he asked me, like, who is Machiavelli? Yes. Okay, luckily I know that answer because Machiavelli is a Florence author and philosopher. So I told that, and he was like, okay, yeah. And a lot of situational based questions they asked, and it was pretty good. Coming to the Black AIMs, my first interview was Kozhikode interview. That was the first time I'm writing the VAT. One more thing I observed is that after every interview, you get some feedback, insights from your own interview, like what mistakes you did, and you have to improve. You should not repeat that mistake in the next interview.
No, but who is going to give you the insights?
Self-assessment.
Self-assessment.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Self-assessment.
Because you can't ask them, no? So how do you?
Yeah.
How was it?
Yeah. So you know yourself. Like the first time I wrote VAT in the Kozhikode interview, but I did not perform well in the VAT. So I just repeated the question and somehow wrote it like that. But I knew that VAT didn't go well, but the interview went really good. But still, I couldn't convert to Kozhikode. I was waitlisted at 128 in Kozhikode. That is because I did not perform well in the VAT. So the next interview was Ahmedabad interview. So here there were like 4 days gap between Kozhikode and Ahmedabad. So Ahmedabad also has a AWT rating test, analytical rating test. It's different from VAT. So in the VAT, it depends upon your own knowledge. Like if you have the general knowledge, you can write some good points. But in the AWT, it depends upon your logical reasoning skills and your analytical thinking skills. So they give a question and then situational question. For example, for me, they gave the question that, okay, this person is thinking that there are only two type of content creators in the world. So the first guy is very talented and he has a relevant content and all. The other person is like a sensationalist. So the people who create the content just for the clickbaits and all. So give your supporting arguments and the arguments that can strengthen or weaken this particular scenario. So I thought for like 5 minutes and jot down the thoughts, and then I started writing the answer. Uh, AWD went pretty good for me. Like I wrote in the point wise, in the paragraph wise, first, second, and third, and then conclusion. So after my AWT, I was pretty confident that okay, things are going in my favor, and I went to into the interview room, and there were two panelists. One of the panelists is in mid 40s, and the other panelist in mid 30s. And the one of the panelists is giving acknowledgements, like whatever answer I'm giving, he's saying okay, yeah, okay. The other panelist is like very serious, like he's just dead face, like whatever answer I'm giving, he's just staring at me like this. I'm also getting a little bit underconfident, nervous, because whatever I'm saying, he have to give some acknowledgement, right? Yeah. So the first question they asked me was like, take a pen and paper and draw your plot your CGPA in college in the graph, because there were a lot of ups and downs in my CGPA. So I said like, okay, sir, it will look like a sine wave, and all of them laughed, and I drew the graph. Like one of the semesters I got a 9, and the other semester like I got 6. One thing I learned is like,
That is a cost graph, but okay.
yeah. I'm pretty weak in math, yeah. So so I drew the graph, and I justified it actually. What IIMA people are looking is that they're looking for the depth of knowledge. Whatever you're saying, do you know like in depth, like whatever you're saying? So I justified it. And IIM Ahmedabad also focuses on academics a lot. The A stands for academics in IIMA. Yeah. So they were kind of
In A, they are also going to tell you like academic rigor. Okay.
yeah.
Many people used to hate it. Okay.
Mm.
But I used to like it.
So they're looking like how committed you are into your academics. Do you know your stuff? So they asked me to plot my CGPA. Luckily, I know everything, like in which semester, at what score I got, and I also justified it in the interview. So they were pretty satisfied. And then the next question they asked is regarding academics only. They asked me about OOPS concepts, object-oriented programming concepts, since I'm from computer science background. And luckily, the day before the interview, I revised every CS concept. I revised all the sorting algorithms, writing the code, and DBMS, OOPS, computer networking, everything I reversed. So I explained it in a very good format. Like I gave the examples for every concept of OOPS, and the interviewer seemed pretty satisfied. And later, next question they asked me to write a code for algorithm. So to identify whether a string is a palindrome or not. So I wrote a good code, and they also seemed pretty satisfied. And then they moved into my WorkX. So I have 3 years of WorkX in my startup, right? So they asked me, one of the professor, after my interview, I Googled and I saw one of the professor is from strategy.
Okay.
So,
What
so
is his name?
uh,
Okay, don't say.
yeah,
But okay.
No, you can cut it out if you want. You can
Yeah.
Tell me later. Huh.
yeah, definitely. So he asked me the question like, why do people choose your company Toddle instead of your competitors? So I gave a very direct answer, the core answer that, sir, whenever we are making a product, whenever we are making feature, we analyze the competitor and we will think how to make a better product than them. So this is kind of a first principle thinking. So I gave the answer. So he asked me, okay, how do you know your competitors' products? I said, sir, we will enroll in them in their this thing. And then he also laughed. Like I said, yeah, it happens everywhere, sir. Yeah. Okay. He also thought, okay, yeah, this guy is giving real answers, and later they moved into current affairs and all. He asked me from at this point of time. From this point of time, I started panicking because he asked me one question. Tell me what's happening with the World Cup. World Cup. I don't know what World Cup he's talking about because I don't follow cricket. I don't follow football. I told sir, I don't follow cricket. He said, you don't follow cricket or football? No, sir, I said. He skipped current affairs entirely. He's like, okay, let's leave this. And I started panicking. And, and later, the next question he asked me is about this thing. After the current affairs, hobbies. Yeah, hobbies he asked me. I started off saying that I used to do something. he cut me off. The serious panelist cut me off and not used to tell me now. Now what are you doing? I said, sir, after my father's incident, I couldn't indulge in any hobbies. He said, okay, fine. Okay, let's end the interview. At that point of time, up till 70% of my interview, everything was going pretty good. Last few bits of interview, like I think I got panicked actually. I couldn't answer these two questions, right? Yeah. So I don't know that that's okay. At that point of time, I was kind of panicking, and I thought, okay, okay, I did my best. Let's see what happens. Let's pray to God. But at the end, like when I got converted, I was pretty happy.
One thing you have to remember is nobody is trying to reject you. In an interview, they're looking for a reason to take you in. Okay, that is always something that you have to believe. Nobody is here to pinpoint what are the mistakes or is your profile having any like flaw. That is not what they're looking at. They're just trying to see if they can give you a chance to take you in. So you have to look at it that way. So if you have done well for 70%, 80%, that I think should be sufficient.
Yeah, I think the core things what they're looking for went pretty good for me. So yeah.
So basically what I'm looking at is in any of the interview experiences, how did you feel when you entered the room? Were you nervous or were you like scared or?
First in panel, sir. So I was very, I didn't know, because usually what happens is we are taken into the room for the AWT and we write in front of the professors. So the moment I come out, I would Google who the professors are. But this time I didn't have the chance. So I don't know who they were, and then I just had to go in. So after I went in, they thought I was Telugu because of my long name. They said Kucho. I didn't understand, so I said, no, sit down, sit down. Okay, it's from Chennai, fine, fine. And then one was a finance and accounting prof, and the other was a stats prof. Luckily, these two are my domains in which I'm strong in. So it started off with my work experience. They asked me what am I into and what is my current AUM and all of that, and what are my strengths, in what domain am I working in inside the startup, and apart from that, why am I not aspiring to go into an alternate path? So basically, we have something called MFD, which is a mutual fund distribution. And SEBI has also recently launched something called RIAs, Registered Investment Advisors. So he asked me, why are you not moving into RIAs? So I told him that RIAs are much stronger in terms of giving advice outright, but MFDs are not allowed to give advice as such. But if they are asked to give us some advice, they can give some incidental advice. That's the technical term. So immediately he said, okay, I get it. And then, but anyway, under the table, you do give some advice. That's what he said. I said, no, sir, that's, even if I'd like to give it, I won't be able to give it. So I was outright there. And what happened was that this was completely new to me, the way he interacted with me. So usually people ask us questions and we are supposed to answer, right? But he was giving me the points that I was supposed to give in. So he was like, okay, so RIAs means that you have to chase the clients for money, but being an MFD, you get your revenue on time. So I was like, yes. So then he asked me, how are you different from banks? I told him we do financial planning and all of that. I mean, not financial planning. We do, a risk profile assessment and all of that. It's like, yeah, that is more holistic. So, compared to banks, you're much better. So this was completely new to me, because everything, he is giving me the points and I'm not doing. But what happened was that after that, I think in IIM Ahmedabad, there is always one problem that needs to be solved on pen and paper, regardless of your domain. Whether you're a civil engineer or a computer science grad or a BBA student, you have to do it. So they gave me a pen and paper and they asked me what all courses I studied in undergrad. I said, I studied stats because that's my favorite area. He said, fine, leave stats, anything else. So because he was the finance prof. So he asked me, did you learn something in finance? I said, corporate finance is something you learned. Then he asked, give me something more interesting. So I said, there's this course called Computer Applications in Finance. We learned how to model CAPM in real life. We took real life data of different banks and we did that. So he immediately told me, okay, so that's very interesting. Can you write down the formula and all of that? So this is the point I realized what he was trying to do. I wrote the formula and he asked me to interpret, taking the things to the other side and all of that. Then he asked me, what is beta in this CAPM? So I said, beta is the systematic risk. So which is captured by the market. And he again told me, so beta is, systematic risk is the only risk that is priced in the market. I said yes. So this is where in the same tone he told me, so all stocks have the same required rate of return, which is actually wrong. The statement is wrong, but he was about to move on to a next statement. So that's where I stopped him and said, no, that's not the case. And I had to explain. So that felt a little, that was very risky. So that's when they were interested. And then from there, they asked me to write the formula for beta. I wrote completely wrongly. And then they saw and then they were like, no, this is wrong. And then they gave me some time to correct it. After I corrected, then they asked me what is correlation. So I told them the technical, very technical definition. It measures the linear relationship between two variables, right? And then he was like, no, I don't understand. So the stats prof was like, what you're saying is wrong. Actually, it's correct. So he drew an outlier case for me. He drew points, in a straight line and asked me calculate the correlation. So the answer was supposed to be undefined because the other variable is not moving, but I didn't understand what he was asking. So I said, sir, I don't know what you're saying. I don't understand this at all. So he said, write down the formula. That formula also I wrote wrongly because of the panic. And he was like, fine, leave the formula, but tell me, don't you think it is 0 by 0? I said, sir, I do not know. He was like, you answer. He was very frustrated at that point. He said, I am telling you, tell me, look at the formula, it's 0 by 0. Then why did you say it was 0? So I said, sir, I didn't say it was 0 at all. He said, no, you said. I said, yes, sir, numerator is 0, denominator I didn't see, sir, I'm sorry. So he left it at that point, and that professor was like, see, don't give up like this, push harder and try to give the final answer. So he was a villain guy. At least this professor was encouraging me, but he was a little aggressive. But the other prof was, very silent, but he was, the kind of main villain out there. So I felt that at this point it's just gone. But then he again asked me about CAPM. He went into statistics. The other prof went into conditional probability. So many problems were given. I solved all of them. And then, yeah,
I think at that point of time it was over, but I think
yeah. After that, so after that, so he asked me about R squared in a model, and then he was a little frustrated. He asked me, how do you decide on a hypothesis test? So the outright answer is that if P is less than 0.05 or something, reject the null hypothesis. But I didn't want to be so open about it, so I asked him, what are we testing for? Should it be equal? Are we doing the right tail or left tail? So I asked him, what is the hypothesis test statistics we're taking? Because I studied this for my CFA one, right? So I asked him that. He was like, what is less than 0.05? This is the way he asked me. So I said, p-value is less than 0.05. So he asked me why, and I explained that. So this was the statistics part, and I thought it was over because it was already 30 minutes. So being first in the panel, having 30 minutes interview was completely new to me, and I was tired by that point. Then they saw each other, and I thought I'd be let go, but he again asked me for my hobbies. I think this was the point where I didn't know what to say because I just wanted to be genuine, and it's been 30 minutes. I don't want to ruin that interview as well. So I honestly said, sir, I do not have any hobbies at all. I don't do anything apart from work and studying, and I do watch movies, but it's not really a hobby. And maybe 6 years ago, I used to solve a Rubik's Cube, and I didn't go for competitions, but I generally like doing it. So they said, fine, you don't have any hobbies at all, was the reaction. I said, no, absolutely no hobbies, sir. And then after that, there was some question on Iran-Israel war, to which that term was completely new. Even after I came out, I didn't know what it was. But they asked me, so as per me, if you ask me openly, I will tell you that it's a made-up word. But I don't know if that thing was actually that. They called it Red Gear. So I don't know if it's an organization or a person or anything, but it was a little tough for me to say I don't know. And then he asked me 3 questions on current affairs, and I said I don't know to all of them, because he asked me about Weinstein. So I told him I know about Epstein first. He asked me, do you know Weinstein? Said I don't know. So this was the longest interview, and after that they asked me for my opinion on something. Like they asked me about Sabarimala issue, and because I told him that I'm into culture and probably once a year I aspire to go to Sabarimala, he asked me about the court judgment, and he asked me what would you do as a person who's been following this culture. So I gave him that I will sort of protect my culture, because I took a controversial stance. I told him it's basically I've been listening to these stories for 10-15 years, and how can I suddenly give up my culture? So he told me, see, you're doing contempt of court because you're not following what. So I said, yes, definitely. I have a family to feed, and I have my own things to handle. So if I see a woman, I will go and morally persuade her. But if she's not moving out, it's up to them, because that's ultimately the thing. Then they asked me about Jallikattu issue, and they asked me what was the root cause and all of that. And finally, towards the end, I think they were satisfied, and they asked me if I have any questions for them. And I genuinely wanted to ask what are the prerequisites, and I asked them. But I don't know why they took it that way. They felt a little upset about that. So I asked them in the exact way. I asked them, sir, suppose I get in here, right? So he asked me here as in Bangalore, because the interview is happening in Bangalore. So here, do you mean Bangalore? I said, no, sir, I am A. If I get in there, are there any requisites you want me to do? He said, wherever you get admission, you're supposed to be reading current affairs. You don't have much knowledge. I was like, So he said, wherever you get admission. So that was something that, it was a, after a 45-minute interview, that's not something you want to hear, right? So I shook hands with them and then I left. And when I went out, I thought it was for half an hour. But then the person that said, see, the next panel, in the panel nearby, 3 people have already finished and gone, and you're still the first person inside. So 45 minutes I was there. And when I came out, I told my father, I don't know, most likely it's a reject only, because I didn't really feel good about it. He said, doesn't matter, you will get it. I didn't know how to react. But this was my, I think, 3rd or 4th interview. Bangalore was the first. And that was pretty bad. Like, that was a very, very aggressive interview. I got knocked off everywhere. And I think I overreacted in that interview, and that's where my rejection came from. Like, in Bangalore, I think they kept saying that my work is going to be taken over by AI, you're irrelevant, you will go off field and all of that. And that moment, I went a little aggressive and I said that I think this will stay on, regardless of our opinions, it's still going to stay. So yeah, I lost my cool, and I don't know. No, that was genuinely wrong of me, because I know that they were testing, but I went a little wrong there. And yeah, after I came out, I realized that, I shouldn't have said that, but it's okay. I took the outcome. But thankfully, this was my second interview. First was Shillong, but this was my second interview, and somehow it helped me to keep my cool in at least L and A, like after that. But A, I think, was the most holistic interview. They tested everything, and like he said, they test the depth of knowledge, because they asked me about outlier cases, they asked me my opinion, so many things. But what they are really evaluating us on, that still remains a mystery. I don't know.
No, I think what they're trying to evaluate is, I actually like the admission process for IIMs, okay? I really like it. What they check in CAT, I like. What they check in interviews, also I like. What they're trying to check in interviews is basically very useful in the corporate life. In the corporate life, you won't get clients who are always nice. Sometimes clients will be very, very aggressive. They'll be unfair, okay? But you, as the representative of the company, should never be rude, but still should not be super submissive. You should put forth your point of view in a polite and in an assertive way. There is a difference between being assertive and aggressive, okay? Now, what they're trying to check, okay, again, this is something I knew at that time also, is can you say the same thing in a politically correct way, okay? Can you remain grounded, have your stand in a politically correct way is what they're looking at, okay? They will teach you, they'll fine tune your communications and all, but at least you should be clear about what are the things that can be said, what are the things that cannot be said, okay? And how you phrase your words, how you phrase your sentences is something that they definitely look at, okay? That is basically what they're trying to check. Even all this pushing, okay, of AI and all, if you had just smiled and then just repeated the same thing, okay, if you had smiled and said, I get it, sir, but maybe we are having a difference of opinions, is also fine, okay? But if it is
Regardless.
No, I agree that because it was a 30-minute interview, and for 25 minutes, the same thing was going on. Like, he kept cutting me off, and I know that I went wrong. Like, I do regret that, I did that. But yeah, somewhere I felt that I shouldn't have done that. So that was there. But in A, thankfully, they never did any of this. They just politely asked me. There was some sort of aggression, but that was towards, pushing me harder to my lowest.
No, one thing I would tell everybody is, if you are identifying that this is a stress interview, okay, and it is not difficult to identify it, okay. If you feel that somebody is being unnecessarily either rude or like not being very polite, normally IIM profs are super polite. They're absolute gentlemen. But if they're trying to be like, and because I have many experiences, okay, where I messed up in many interviews, but they were very nice to me, which I really like, okay. But if somebody you feel is being unnecessarily painful, immediately identify that this is a stress interview. Then the only thing you have to do is not keep your cool, first of all. Second, also try. You should not go into your shell and just think that, okay, I have given up, this interview is going to go, okay. You should appear like you're trying, okay, and keep your cool. Those are the only two things that matter. What you say, how you say, all of that doesn't matter, okay. Like, it is like this war that is going on, US and Iran, okay. If Iran can keep, like, survive, it wins, okay. So this also is similar.
Actually, I want to highlight my B interview experience. It was kind of a stress interview. So there were 2 panelists, very senior level, like mid-50s, and they were so mean to me. Like, they were very mean, like very rude actually. So maybe they were in the intention of rejecting me from the start, or something, I don't know. I went there, like, they asked me, like, what is design process? So what is design process? Like, I heard for the term for the first time. I'm a computer science grad. I don't know what is design process. I said, sir, I don't know the term. I heard it for the first time. They were like, what did you do in your 4 years BTech? Like, sir, I might know how it works internally. I might have experienced it, but I don't know what the term definition is. They were like, okay, fine. What project did you do in your BTech? I said, sir, I made some this innovative project where I control the computer using hand gestures. He was like, okay, this was done 20, 30 years ago. Like, what innovation did you do? I was like, 20, 30 years ago, computers were not there. How can people do this thing? Even then, I maintained my calm. Like, they were grilling me, cutting me off, and everything. And actually, I wrote a very good SOP. So I heard that Bangalore focuses more on the SOP. There were 3 panels in our interview day, and 2 of the panels were very chill. Like people came out laughing and dancing. It was very conversational. They asked mostly from the SOP. I was like, okay, fine, let's try what happens. But they didn't touch any point from my SOP. I think comparatively, I have a good profile, like 3 years work experience startup and 1.5 year of real estate experience. They didn't touch anything about that. And they ask only one thing, like, what is the valuation of your company? I said, sir, I told the valuation of the company, and then they said, okay, this much big world, why is the valuation so small? I said, I don't know, like, but I stick to my point. And I understood that this is a stress interview. The things I don't know, I said I don't know, but in a very polite way, and I maintained my calm throughout the interview. And even the predictor tools that we have, right? The marks needed to convert. Bangalore is green for me. Like it was like I just need to get 21 marks out of 50 marks in this VAT process. I was like, Bangalore is a sure shot. No matter what the interview, like even in the interview, I thought like, okay, this was a stress interview. I survived. I maintained my composure and all. But at the end, I got rejected in Bangalore. That was a shocker for me actually. Then I thought like, okay, it also depends upon the interviewer.
True, his perspective.
His perspective, and the day your interview happens, the questions they ask. Then I thought like, okay, getting as many calls is beneficial because one or the other you will convert. Some days go in your favor, some days I don't know. There are some external variables that might actually mess up your attempt.
Okay. 2 questions for you. Okay. One is interview experiences.
Okay.
Second is A was a reject,
Yeah.
B was a reject. Okay. What are you feeling at that time?
After A got rejected, I was fine. I thought it's a gone case during the interview only. So while interview was happening, they were very mean. So they were like, "You don't even know this," and I was like, "Yeah, that's why I want to join IIMA." Really, I said this, and I know that's a gone case and it's a stress interview, and I know I will not be converting this. So all the stress in me, it just evaporated from my body. I was so cool then. I was giving very normal answers. So in B, I had hopes. So B went pretty decent, I say. So it's already past 12 in the morning session. So they need to wrap up the interviews, and there are 2 more people behind me. So they took my interview for like 12 minutes or something. That's it. Uh, they asked me about complex symbols. They asked me to solve. I did it, and they asked me about stats. I told, and they asked me about geopolitics and my hobbies. So that's it. Everything I said, and it went fine. I never for a minute thought it went bad. Cause due to the time, 12 minutes, I thought it's very low. So that's why I felt it's like average. So I thought I had big hopes for it. But once it's gone, I was like, what should I do if I couldn't convert A, B, C after all this? So I was just watching series. I was trying to distract my mind. Just like I take break after mocks, after these hard mocks by Cracku. Don't believe if Cracku shows it as medium medium level hardness. It's definitely hard. If it's hard, you forget it.
I think Crackus marks definitely helps because in the exam scenario, on the exam day, there are hundreds of people around you, and the kind of pressure is difficult because in your home, whenever we are attempting mocks, we are sitting comfortably, no noise, nothing, our own devices, so we are pretty comfortable. Then writing a mock which is a little bit difficult than the normal actually helps to cope up with the pressure in the real exam.
I agree.
Also representative. The reason is that some other institutes, I'm not naming them, what they've done is that they've taken the last 10 years, 8 years papers, right? 2017 to 2024. they put that into ChatGPT or Gemini and they make questions out of that, right? I'm sure you know who I'm referring to. So you have questions that look exactly similar and there's no point of it being a mock because I know exactly what option to select. The most similar option to previous is what I answered. But with Cracku, what happened was that everything was a battlefield. Everything was a new question there. And DLR, I think every DLR will have one new set that.
Yeah, I love Cracku's DIY.
That's what actually helped me, and your attempt personally helped me because I never saw the solutions. I would only see your attempts, and I'll try to see if I went correct or not. Because your DLR would also sort of go down. I will see if I at least selected the set right. So that helped me a lot the exam as well.
So this strategy for my interviews were a bit different for my cat. So I was aiming for 100 percentile in cat. Here, I just wanted to convert anything from Blackie. So that's my main point. So I was good with in geopolitics and current affairs stuff because I read paper and I follow news frequently. So that was fine. And I'm good with my, have hobbies to talk about. And also, I also I'm decent with ACADS and my job, I worked in the core domain. So what's the issue is I worked in VLSI industry in Texas Instruments. So what happened is it's regarding backend of VLSI design. So I didn't get any of the questions related to my work because most of the interviewers might not be familiar with this field. So I didn't get anything regarding it. They just asked what do you do at work and what's the revenue and what are your competitors, some basic stuff like that. So after A and B were gone, I was more like I should take a break and
Because you don't even have a job, right? At that
yeah,
time?
yeah. It's just yeah, after A and B it's just 4 or 5 days, I guess. So even during the results, I went out. My phone was off and I was playing badminton. So one of my friend called me. He has my details, so he checked it and told you converted it. Yeah, I was like happy.
No, even putting in the number and checking is stressful, no?
Right. Yes, sir. Sir, actually, I think on the day of IIMA results, right? I think on 13th April, the website went under maintenance. And I know that, for the last 2 years, the moment they do that, it's going to be out in another 5-6 hours. So that whole day I was refreshing the screen. But the moment the result came out, I didn't want to check. I said, it's fine, let it just be there. But anyway, I just prayed a little and then I selected, said, congratulations. So I think that was a wonderful moment.
On the day of A result, I also know that result is going to come. So what I did was I wanted to distract myself. So I watched a movie, Mad Max actually. Yeah, I watched
You went
the
in the
movie
theater or in the?
in the home only. I watched the movie and then I slept. I slept and woke up at 6:30. By the time the result is out, so people are discussing in the WhatsApp group and all. I checked the result and I was converted. After I saw the message, I was converted. I was kind of in that like I woke up just I was kind of numb for a few minutes. I don't know what's happening. I called my parents and I told my mother like I'm converted and they were very happy. After seeing them happy, I felt happy. Yeah.
So yeah, any questions you have for me? Anything about IIM?
So if you are about to join IIM or MBA program now, what would you do differently than the previous Maruti that has done MBA?
Yeah, one thing I again mentioned it in some of my podcasts is one thing is you had to aim high. Okay, I entered with a slightly defensive mindset. I wanted to study well, but I entered with a slightly defensive mindset because I didn't do well in my undergrad. Okay, my ACADs in undergrad were very bad, so I was not confident that I can study. Okay, because of that, I actually told myself that I had to pass all the courses. Okay, which is a bad way of actually going. Okay. And I studied very well. I put a lot of effort, but because I think my mindset was also like that, even though I was scoring well, I think I could have scored better. Okay, so out of say 10, it used to be for 4. But say if you are taking it to 10, um, if you are aiming to pass and suddenly you're getting 8s and 9s, you feel that okay, if I'd actually aimed to get a 10, I would have probably gotten a 10. Okay, so one thing I would tell you is always try to get the best. Okay, try to give your best and try to believe that you can do well in the institute. Okay, having that belief I think is very, very important. You should not feel overwhelmed with the competition there. Okay, sometimes in IIMs, because everybody talks about these resumes, okay, and resume points and all, okay, it is very easy to feel left out. Very easy because you know the flaws in your own resume, okay, and you highlight the best points in other people's resume, okay. So don't do that. Don't compare, okay. Be very clear that you have your strengths, okay, and you have a great opportunity. You have this 2 years, okay. So try to study well there, okay. don't when you're trying to get a job, okay, don't go for the highest pay package and all. That is another mistake people shouldn't make, because everybody will make decent amount of money at the end of the day. Okay, anybody from ABC, Blackie, I don't think will really have to struggle for money, say 5 years after they pass out. That won't happen. Like when I talk to any of my batchmates, okay, that is not, we don't really discuss money, okay. But when people complain, it is not for lack of money. People complain about either job being boring, okay, or not enough career growth, okay, or not getting recognition. So there are other aspects of a job that they complain about, okay. So when you are selecting a job or a career, know that even 2 years afterwards, you might not be very clear about what the job actually means, okay. But and many people actually leave that career also 2 years later, and they search for a new job, okay, with their alumni network, all of these things. So having a good brand there matters quite a lot, okay. Other than that, these 2 years, like we discussed before this interview, okay, having access to these kind of courses, this pre-MBA courses, I would say is definitely good. You will get a good understanding of what to expect, okay. Having that understanding, I think, will help you pick up things which are new to you faster.
Okay.
Too expensive.
One more doubt I have, like people say that in the first year of IIMA, like ABC, people get very less amount of sleep. So is it a myth or it's a reality?
I never really remember starved for sleep, okay. First, because I was much younger as in I think I was 21, 22. So even if I was not sleeping enough, I don't think I ever noticed it. A. B, there will be some periods where you don't sleep a lot, okay. But I remember sometimes after submitting an assignment or something, and once everything was done, I would wake up in the afternoon. Those things I do remember, okay. I basically remember those kind of incidents where I would suddenly wake up. So, but one thing I know is the reason I messed up in undergrad was because first time I was staying in hostel, okay. I didn't know how to manage time. But like many of you, I also learned from my mistakes, okay. In IIMA, I was very good at managing my time, very, very good, okay. And managing time is the most important thing, okay. There will always be 100 things on your head, sure, okay. And that is the first time something like that will happen, okay. But you should be prepared for it. Luckily for me, because I was staying in a hostel in my undergrad, and there were always distractions. I wanted to play football, I had to go to classes, video games, everything was always there. So I messed up at that time. Here, there are many things similarly. Okay, you have to attend a PPT, you have to prepare your resume, you have to do the project work. Okay, people are playing. You also are required to socialize. There are different things. Okay, but I was always I was always very good at prioritizing. Okay, and compromising that. Okay, this is not needed, this is not needed. But these are the 2-3 things which are super important for today. Okay, and the most important 2-3 things I was always doing. Other than that, don't worry about sleep and all. Many of the things that you read on Reddit, I think, are exaggerated. There is always an element of truth in the things that they mention, but exaggerated. Like, for example, say somebody is going, okay, in a car or something, okay, and then they have an accident. Doesn't mean that you don't drive a car, right? So, Reddit also is similar, where I think they just exaggerate overtly. Okay, I don't believe that.
Sir, one more doubt, one last doubt from my end. So
Sure.
yeah, so in IIMA, let's say after the core academic work, how many hours do you get free time in a day?
You won't get free time. Okay. If I'm being honest, but it is not like, it never, for me at least, it never felt like a struggle, okay. But basically there are always so many important things to do, okay, and you can't do all the important things also. Important things would involve academic, first go to classes, then come back and finish the assignments, then you have to prepare for next day's classes, you have to read some cases and all, and you have to prepare what to say, okay. And once these things are done, you have some group projects. Group projects, you figure a way out. In group projects are meant to all the group sitting together and then discussing and doing it. Nobody really does it. They distribute it and they do it, but still that is part of the work that you have to do. In addition to all of this, you have to prepare your resume, you have to prepare for your summers, okay. And in the middle, once you go, you will be getting these shortlists. And sometimes you get shortlist, sometimes you don't get shortlist. Every time you don't get a shortlist is a distraction. You know somebody who has gotten this shortlist. People will be talking that somebody has gotten 10 shortlists. You got only 2 shortlists. And then you're wondering, is this the best that I can do? Okay. And it is distracting because you are not able to work at your full capacity. Okay. So you should, all of these things being said, you won't get any free time to pursue anything other than what is very important for your MBA.
When are you coming to IIM Ahmedabad next time?
I'll come in December. There is a
Okay.
15-year reunion.
Okay. So one more question. This is in terms of the academics there. So some courses are predictable in terms of the outcomes. So if you have like a finance course or somewhere that involves numbers, right, like stochastic process, there's always a right answer. So you know that if you write it, you get marks for it. But in subjects like marketing or sales, right, you don't really have that predictability. So even if you write something that is the best of your ability, you might still get a C plus in your paper. So how do you actually tackle that?
Uh, I don't know. Okay. I'll tell you why. Because I struggled in marketing. Okay. For example, I studied well there. Okay. But there is something called ICE call. Okay. You know that industry scholarship. Okay. If you're in the top 5%, you get it. So I was in the race to be an ICE call. Okay. Till these marketing courses came. And I was putting a lot of effort. Okay. A lot of effort because I knew that, and marketing comes towards the end of the first year. Okay. So by that time, I knew that I was doing well. Okay. But I had to score properly, very well. I had to score A's in marketing to be an ICE call. And I was putting a lot of effort. But I scored, I think, C minus or something. And they had like a lot of weightage. Okay. So because of 2 or 3 marketing courses, which had a lot of weightage, and I scored poorly, I was not an ICE call. But the fact is, I put a lot of effort into it. It was like you're saying, I wrote, I put effort, I did all the projects. Okay. And even in the projects, I was not scoring very well. At that time, I also used to complain that, okay, maybe they are wrong, I am right. Okay. Sometimes I used to feel that many of the profs knew that I had a finance intern. Okay. And maybe it is partly true, partly not true. But I felt that there were some profs, maybe it is, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. But I felt that because they knew that I was, and all our group was also going into finance. Okay. So in the group projects also, we used to be getting very poor grades. Even though we used to, and most of my group were also, all of them aspiring ICE scores. Okay. So all of them were putting in a lot of effort, but so much effort, okay, like crazy effort. But still we used to get like C or C minus. It used to be disheartening. But still I thought in the end sem, I'll put full effort because projects don't have a lot of weightage. So even if you are scoring poorly there, I thought it's okay. But even if for the end sem I put a lot of effort, still I scored like a C or something. And I remember this was, at that time I was already doing an internship. And the last 2, 3 courses remain. And I was hoping that, okay, I'll get an A, okay, all of this thing. But I got like some C or C minus. And I thought, okay, it's gone. And it was pretty disheartening because those are the only courses I performed poorly, in spite of putting in a lot of effort. So again, I don't know. But the way I tell myself is I should have done much better in the courses where I had an advantage, like many of these quant courses and all. I was say scoring sometimes B plus or A minus. Okay, then I would say it is my fault. At the start, when I was telling I was underconfident and all, the starting courses were all quant courses. There I was scoring well, okay, but I was not topping them. I should have ideally topped them, knowing that you can't know the future, but at least I should have had some buffer for these marketing mishaps, which I didn't have.
Because these are unpredictable courses. Any answer you write is not directly linked to the outcome.
That is true, but there were some people who were consistently doing well. Okay, so they know the way to write. I don't know. Even now, I haven't figured it out because after that, I just hated marketing. And in second year, you have options. So I never took marketing again. So I never bothered to like get better at it.
Well, same happened with me, sir, in UG also. There used to be this class on advertising, marketing, and all of that. Theoretically, I would learn everything and go, but in the paper, something else comes and it doesn't really make sense to write any of that. So I don't know what to write and I feel stuck.
No, try to figure it out because it is also a skill. It is not unpredictable. In general, I don't want to have a mindset that it is not in our hands because then we won't put in the effort. Okay. You should always believe that you can improve. Okay. Try to figure out, try to ask people. You asked me, which is a good thing, but I don't know the answer. But I do know that there were some people who are always doing well. Okay. In all marketing courses, they were doing well. With different processes, they were doing well. So clearly, there is a way to do well in marketing. I just don't know it.
So you told you were not performing that well in your UG and you came to your MBA, and aren't you a bit scared that you would repeat those mistakes and all?
No, I was very scared. I was definitely very scared. I was not scared that I would repeat the mistakes because I really regretted it quite a lot. Okay. I genuinely regretted so much. Even when I was in my undergrad, once your CGPA is low, it is difficult to improve it. There is lack of motivation and all. But that regret was there by the time I came to my third year in undergrad only. I was regretting it so much that I'm not putting the effort. And then fourth year, and then I worked for a year. So for 3-4 years, there was serious regret that I am not able to like study or I'm not putting the effort. I'm not consistent, disciplined, all of these things. So I was not scared that I would not put the effort, but I was scared that even if I put the effort, I won't succeed. Okay. And I was also scared that, okay, there are IIMA, all this academic rigor, okay, all of these things that people say so much, right? So, and till my 12th, I studied well, but till my 12th, it was a different type of study. it was focused on one examination.
Right.
Okay. In UG, it is long term. Okay, it is semesters. There is no clear target at the end of many years. Every day you have to do well. Okay, so consistency is needed. So I had doubts about whether I can do well consistently. Okay, those doubts were there. Okay, that was the reason my goals were also slightly low, like I told you. But I used to tell myself that I'll attend all classes because in UG I didn't attend classes. Okay, I used to tell myself I had to attend all classes. Okay, I'll make notes properly. I used to tell that to myself multiple times. Okay, and I was also slightly intimidated by the resumes of other people, but not a lot. Okay, because that imposter syndrome I suffered from quite a lot in IIT. Okay, so and I recognize that also that was an irrational way of thinking. Okay, and I messed up because of it. So when I went to IIMA, I was not having a lot of imposter syndrome. I felt that, like I was telling you, everybody has like good resumes, good point in their resumes, but everybody will have flaws. Okay, you know your flaws, you don't know the flaws of others. And even if somebody has great resume, it is fine. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think this imposter syndrome happens a lot,
Yeah.
especially for average students like me. Yeah, even when I got out of this imposter syndrome, we got into the Cracku toppers meeting, right? So there we were having a fireside chat with a lot of toppers. Like one of the topper, he got like 99.95 or something, and then he told me that out of all the people I have interacted in this toppers meeting, you have the best profile. You have a crazy profile. So then I thought like, okay, yeah, I also have something in me. Then I got some confidence. This thing.
The grass is always greener on the
Exactly.
other
No?
side.
So
Yeah.
he feels something is lacking in his profile. Maybe he doesn't have enough work ex, or maybe he doesn't have any entrepreneurship, or maybe he doesn't have any managing experience. Something that he saw in your resume, he feels okay, is very nice. Which is good.
Mine
Even
tends
in
to go to the negative side. Yeah.
getting the call is important. Like after we get a call from an IIM, like converting the interview, everyone is equal after.
100%.
When we go to the
100%. Totally agreed. One thing I would tell you is put in effort in these next 2 years. Okay, it will be slightly hectic. Okay, it will be slightly stressful. I've seen two different paths of people. Some people just suffer those 2 years. Okay, because either they don't start well, or it is they're expecting something to be extremely good and it is not like that. Water might be the case, and then they become like slightly depressed. Okay, I want you to be pragmatic about why you're going there. Okay, you're going there to get a very good jump in your career, which you're definitely going to get. Okay, manage your brand very well. By brand is like 4 or 5 years later, when people ask about you from anybody in the campus, you should get a positive feeling, and it is very easy to do it. You just have the good qualities, like you don't be a freeloader, don't like give up on group projects. Okay, don't copy all of these things people do. Okay, don't do that. Just be diligent and you'll have a good brand automatically. Okay.
So, you have any weird interview experiences? Weird, weird.
weird or
I mean,
weird?
not weird ones.
Weird interview experiences. I really wanted to get into AMC, like I told you, because again, from my profile and all, I thought, see, I have the best chance. So my C interview was the most important interview. Okay. And when I was preparing for interviews, I prepared very well actually. I put in a lot of introspection. Ki what can they ask? Then I'll note down, okay, if they ask, I'm going to say this. Then what exactly next are they going to ask? If they ask this, this will be my answer. If they ask this will be my answer. So I used to have a nice flow chart. Okay. I used to write it down and I used to mug it up. I put a lot of effort, okay, to control the interview, which worked very well for most of the interviews. Okay. But for C, for whatever reason, the first question they asked was about India's fiscal condition and all. Okay. This was during the 2008 crisis. My interviews happened around that time. Okay. 2009, January, February. Okay. And at that time, finance was not my strong point. Okay. I was following it, okay, but again, I didn't have a real great understanding of why the economy is collapsing, okay, because I was not really following a lot of news. I started reading this Economic Times, this Business Today, when the interviews came, when the interview results, interview calls came. So that was definitely not where I wanted the interview to go, okay. And all of my flowcharts and all would steer clear of any of these topics, okay. They would talk about different my hobbies, all of these things, which I'm very strong at, okay. I wanted to go there. But when they asked me, and this was the first interview that they asked, okay, first question in the interview in IIM, they asked, okay, tell me about India's fiscal condition or fiscal deficit or whatever, and they didn't stop me. Okay, I panicked and I was saying more and more and more and more. And I remember at one point I used the word ballooning debt. Okay, and when I used ballooning, I thought, okay, this is going crazy. Okay, मैं कहीं पे तो पहुंच रहा हूँ. Okay, And then I stopped. Okay, after saying ballooning did, I thought, okay, I just talked for so much, okay, that I am actually using balloon. So I just stopped there. And one of the guys started laughing. Okay. And then the interview was over. Then I remember coming out and thinking, okay, I messed it up. Okay, this is so bad. But the next one was, at that time, there used to be two courses for IMC. One was PGDBA and one was PGDCA or something.
They do have it now also, but it's separate application, I guess.
IIT Kharagpur, that one.
No, that is PGDBA is different. Okay, at that time there were some PGDB and PGD Computer Science. This okay, the other course was stopped after like 4-5 years. But anyway, that also was similar to the same course. Okay, it is just that the second course had some more courses or something. So anyway, I wanted to convert either that also. So, but that interview happens 15 minutes after this. So I remember coming out and like calming myself down, going to the washroom, okay, and telling myself, okay, no, you have another chance. This is gone, but you have another chance, okay. And at that time, like I told you again earlier, for C, I was very, very like risk averse because I thought I will anyways convert it. I shouldn't mess it up. And I think I messed it up. But here I went into the other side. I thought I'll go crazy, okay. So, and in the second interview, I basically told him in my tell me about yourself, I changed certain things slightly where I remember adding towards them and I'm very good at maths or something. Okay. Normally I would say that I'm interested in maths or something, but here I wanted them to ask me questions in maths. So I said I'm very good at maths. Okay. In the tell me about yourself. And that was my ending thing. And they obviously asked me a lot of maths questions, which I answered very well and I converted. Okay. But basically I feel that if you come across as being too prepared, okay, it is also not very good because I think and I feel even though I feel I was very well prepared, I was not at all able to handle like change of script. Okay, it's tough also because there are so much weighing on it. Okay, that interview was so important, but I feel I handled it very poorly. Okay, but my CAT score was so high that I was anyways able to convert it. But in general, it is not something I'm super proud of. Got it.
So my second question. So I've seen this rack of books there in your exam. So what are your top 3 favorite books in non-fiction and also in business management?
Top 3 books. First, I don't read a lot of non-fiction. Earlier, I used to read a lot of non-fiction. Okay. I used to read a lot of non-fiction because I thought I had to know more things. Okay. But after a point of time, I stopped reading non-fiction because I find it like, as it is, I work very hard. Okay. So I don't want to like, even reading should not become like painful. Okay. So then I started reading only fiction. Okay. And I like fiction. In fiction, my all-time favorite is Godfather, for sure. Okay. I love it. I also like Harry Potter. That series also, like I read so many times, but it is like so engrossing. Okay. I also read Agatha Christie, that Poirot series. Murder mysteries. Again, I love it. Okay. But mostly I read fiction. Non-fiction also, like I don't have any great favorites because they're always like it becomes a job or a chore.
I would like to say like I'm extremely grateful for Cracku for helping me change my life and life of a lot of other students as well. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Your marathons really helped me. You used to quote my name also there, I remember.
Yeah.
Because I used to answer questions correctly in those
Very nice.
weekend
Huh.
marathons. But yeah,
Hmm.
from there I've converted it. So
Great, man.
thank you so
Yeah.
much for that.
ठीक है